Good morning, HPC. How very good to see you. Welcome. The Rambling returns. Psalm 14, verse 1. The fool says in his heart, there's no God. It's quite a startling way to start a book, but that's how Andrew Wilson chooses to start this book, Incomparable. Quite a claim he makes. He goes on to say that for the Bible writers, God's existence is foundational, essential, and startlingly obvious, which probably isn't how we feel about the evidence for God's existence today. But I was so helped by him going on to say, you see, whatever your view of the world is, you've got to account for all the big questions. And I think, and if you think that the world is just a product of chance, then you still have to answer some of the pretty scary why questions. Why is the world, at least parts of it, undeniably beautiful? Why is there something instead of nothing? Why does every civilization, every society ever discovered have some sense of the divine? Not believing in God is a faith position. If someone tells me I don't believe in God, which they do occasionally, as well as wanting to say to them, tell me a little bit more about how you came to that conclusion. If I'm feeling a bit naughty, I say to them, I admire your faith. Because not believing in God creates as many problems as it solves. At least that's what Andrew Wilson says. He helpfully points out that the Bible has an answer for the reason why people don't believe in God. And he takes us to Romans chapter 1 and says that they suppress the truth in their unrighteousness. What can be known about God, his eternal qualities and his divine nature, is plain to see from creation around us. But they keep on squashing the truth about that so that it doesn't get in the way of them living as they want to, as if there was no God. The problem with the squashing the truth like that, of course, is that it keeps on popping up in awkward places. Someone said, squashing the truth about God, suppressing the truth about him, what can be known about him, is a little bit like trying to hold a beach ball full of air under the water in a swimming pool. Just when you think you've got it under control, just when you think you've got it there, it pops up somewhere else uh, to one side of you, or you push it down again, and suddenly it's behind you. You just can't successfully maintain the beach ball full of air under the water. And you just can't successfully maintain the fiction that there is no God, the foolishness that there is no God. There's an expression, isn't there? I'm sure you've heard it. There are no atheists in foxholes. The idea that when we're under attack, under pressure, we fail to sustain the idea that there's no God. I heard a little bit of that on the radio over the last week. The radio presenter was interviewing one of our care workers, and she said something like this: I know I speak on behalf of the whole nation when I say we're rooting for you. We're sending you our best wishes. We are, and I thought, is she going to say we're praying for you? But she didn't quite, of course. She wanted to, but of course, to say we're praying for you begins to lead to those questions of, well, who are you praying to? And that recognition that we need the help of God, someone bigger, greater, far greater than us. She couldn't quite bring herself to do that. Let me finish with this story. There was a woman traveling in a car during the grip of winter in the northern states of the United States. She was a passenger, and one of her fellow passengers was a pastor, and she was explaining how to the pastor she didn't believe in God. To her very great surprise, they hit a patch of ice. Now, that wasn't the surprising thing in the winter of the United States. What was surprising was, having hit the patch of ice, the car turned 180 degrees, left the road, and careered into a large bank of snow that had been ploughed on the side of the road. As that was happening, she cried out, "Jesus, help us!" to her and everyone else's great astonishment. No one was hurt, but what was revealed was that not believing in God is not always as easy. In fact, the Bible says it is as foolish as it seems. From morality to mountains, from miracles to mercy, God's evidence is displayed in all things, and only a fool denies it. Have a really good day, HPC.